The Poppy Fairy knew instantly that something had happened and went quickly to Rosebud's side. The Queen and the King looked at her in despair.
"She's only sleeping,"
the Poppy Fairy reminded them.
"Yes, but for 100 years? When she awakes, everyone she has known will no longer be here,"
said the Queen sadly.
"Then everyone must sleep for 100 years,"
exclaimed the Poppy Fairy, and she began to scatter her magical sleeping dust over the entire kingdom. Everyone fell asleep instantly. The roses in the garden began to grow into a wild, thorny hedge to protect and hide the princess from the rest of the world.
"Now we must wait for 100 years,"
said the Poppy Fairy.
I am so sick at heart. I can't stand the thought of losing my beloved daughter.
"I feel like crying all the time. This just seems like a very bad dream." The old fairy's curse came true, but the princess is still alive. "And what happens when the princess awakes alone in the empty castle?" "I could put all of you to sleep, including the courtiers and the servants, and then when the princess wakes up, you will all be around to tell her what's happened."
That's a great idea, dear fairy. Thank you.
"I shall need your help. Please help me to put everyone to sleep." The time will go after 100 years. When the princess wakes up, the guard will be there. Let's hope that the prince finds the princess and wakes her up.
100 years later, the story of the lost kingdom and the beautiful sleeping princess had spread far and wide.
It is only a story,
one king told his adventurous son.
But if it's true, I shall find this sleeping beauty and make her my wife,
replied the prince. He was a determined young man who was brave and kind.
Then you must follow your heart,
said his father. So the prince set out on his quest to find the lost kingdom and the legendary sleeping princess. The flower fairies used their magic to guide him on his journey and led him to the thorny rose hedge that protected the princess. As he lifted his sword high to cut his way through, the hedge shrank away and disappeared. He followed the path, and soon he stood facing the palace door. Walking through the palace, he noticed that everyone was sleeping. He crept by the king and queen, asleep on their thrones, and all the guests fast asleep in their fine party clothes. Perhaps somewhere nearby he would find his sleeping beauty.
I've heard that within the old castle there lies a lovely princess who has been sleeping for 100 years. If this is true, I shall find the castle, awaken the princess, and marry her. I must force my way through the thick overgrown forest to reach the castle. It's difficult to clear a way through. I am going to need some help. This forest is full of wild animals. We had better stay away from them. This sword is a great help. My sword is broken. I need to find another one. Listen, there are wild animals nearby. I can cut my way through easily. I need a new sword. I can see the way to the castle now. This sword is a great help. I'd better stay away from these wild animals. Now I can go to the castle and see the lovely princess. At last, here is the castle. Soon I'll meet the most mysterious princess in the world.